We're going to talk about Google Business Profile, Google LSA, but we're going to talk more about search. Last week, Bartoro came out with a study, and it's something we've talked about. You're going to know is how people are using Google search on whether it's their desktop or whatever. So we're going to get into what the studies found and what it means for you and how to actually use it. As you've probably been noticing in the map pack on your information on your phone, when you go to Google Maps, you're starting to see LSA ads at the top of the Google map. These are two examples. So this is Best Realtors, Sebring, Florida. You can see that this is an LSA. See how it says Google screened? So their platforms are actually taking your LSA ad and they're actually putting them. You have to have LSA because they're going to force you to. There's no other reason for it, like in terms of what they do. So you see that the first two are LSA ads. So that's where I did the voice. So I literally just went on my phone. This is my phone. And I didn't even type in. I just said, hey, Best Realtors in Sebring, Florida. This one, I typed the same thing. So you see the LSA, but notice what's not happening here. None of them are using videos until we get down to here. If I were looking for an attorney, that's something you want to take of it is the reason why we add the videos to the photo section is on Google Maps, especially the app, it's the second thing that shows up. What you're seeing is on Google reviews, you get a boost once you hit 10. Now you're not getting a boost when you hit 20, you're not getting a boost when you get 100. And then it goes kind of to what it is in your area. So if you're a defense attorney in Austin, Texas, and the majority of the people there have 100, 200 reviews, you need to be close to that. But just for Google purposes, if you're just in an area where it's average, like you need to just be 10 or more. So if you're at 5 or 6, like just your next step is to do Google. And this is the part we kind of wanted to get into. How do people search on Google and what are they using it for? This study took a 21 month and they had, I think it was 21,000 users that they watched for 21 months, or maybe it was 14,000, whatever it is. And it basically tracked every search, whether it was on their phone, whether it was their laptop, whether they were traveling, what they did in terms of, and what they found was nearly half of the searches were on a specific brand. So when we talk about a specific brand, that means they're typing in Ken Small, Canadian Realtor. They're actually typing it in. They're not going Best Realtor, Sebring, Florida, Best Realtor, Islamorada. They're actually talking it in. So it raised an interesting question. And these are some of the examples of what they're using for a branded search as opposed to a generic search. And a generic search is just typing it in. This was Yahoo Fantasy Football, 15,000 searches. Just typing in fantasy football was only 5,000. So what it was telling them is that people are actually using Google not to figure out problems. They're going to, after they know there's a problem and they found the person that they want to use, and then how do they contact them? So they're using Google as your webpage. So if I want to know who somebody is, I'm going to Google as if I would go to MLB.com to find out somebody's batting statistics or anything else. They're going to Google and then they're moving on. So you can see what this is happening here. This is their study. So basically 58, almost 60% of the people typed in one thing in Google and then they either moved on. They didn't click a link. They didn't do whatever. They typed it in. They either did nothing or they typed in a totally different search in Google. So pay-per-click is around 1% of all clicks were paid ads. So when you typed in Best Realtor in Greenwood, South Carolina, Keller Lawrence, it's about 1% of the people actually clicked the ad. They were either moving, 60% of them didn't do anything. So maybe they got Keller's phone number, maybe they got his website, maybe they got whatever they needed. And then another 40% actually clicked on whether it was his website, whether it was his Google Business Profile. You can see it. And so they weren't clicking on ads. Not to say you don't do ads, but it's showing you the number of people you have to drive to actually get people to click on an ad. What this is people arrived, this study said they arrived at Google, then what did they do? 37% typed in whatever it was. I used Keller Lawrence as an example. So they said, Keller Lawrence, the biggest South Carolina Gamecock fan of all time. Then they moved on. So 37% of them moved on. The other 21% said, hey, I don't like that. Keller Lawrence, his daughter's the smartest person in the whole family. She went to Clemson. They changed up the whole search. So you can see that. This is 37. They did nothing. 21%, they typed in a different search. 41.5%. Once they typed in Keller Lawrence, biggest South Carolina fan, the results came up and they started clicking. But of those clicks, only 1% of them were actually on paid ads. So people are basically ignoring the ad where it says ad on Google. They're ignoring it. Not that you shouldn't do it, because it's still good, because once you start figuring it out, this is the next one, you're still getting a 5% click-through rate. Because paid ads, just so you know this, I didn't realize this, paid ads only show up 20% of the time when you type in stuff. And it's probably based on how often you click the ads. If they notice the study didn't go this far. So like if you never click on ads, maybe they don't show you as many. But if you click on ads, maybe they show you more. So you see that, like this is what the study says. Like 21 months of following these thousands of people around on all their searches, whether it was their phone, their desktop, their laptop, their iPad, roughly 20% of the time an ad shows up on Google when they type that in. Well, so what the study told them is from 1997 to 2017, it was an excellent place to start marketing. That's where everybody went to start. Well, it's no longer the start. It's actually, we're going to do a little bit of this. It's actually the next step. So today, and this is what they're saying, is the search in Google is a reward for the marketing that you're doing everywhere else. So this is kind of the sales process. Somebody gets a stimulus where a product, a problem, they figure out, hey, like for example, I just got bit by an alligator. I have a hole in my hand. What do I do next? So it used to be I would go to the store, I would buy peroxide, I would pour it in, and then 3 days later, I would have to go to the hospital to get a tetanus shot. Well, now what's really happening is there's a fourth step, which some people call it the zero moment of truth. So before they go and buy peroxide for the hole in their hand from the alligator biting them, the customer educates themselves. They're figuring out who I should hire, what I should hire, why I should hire. This second step is where Google's fitting in. So it goes more like this. There's a stimulus, there's a problem found somewhere other than Google usually. Then they're coming to Google search, and this is where they're educating themselves first before they go, whether it's online, whether it's in the store, whether they call somebody to actually make the decision to purchase. As you can see, when we're talking about this search, like this small part here, this is where people are actually buying on Google search. So they're going to Google. What these graphs are telling you, see this 0.69 and this 1.13. So what they're doing is people are going to Google to go somewhere else. And that's what we talk about, how Google's actually their website, your website, not theirs, it's your website, is they're at Google. Okay, Keller seems like a good guy. Let's go to, he has this is his phone number. Let me call him. This is his website. Let me go learn more. This is his Instagram because I like Instagram, whatever else. So that's.
And just so you guys know, the average person is on 7 different sites. So they're going to Google, they're checking it out. And then whatever site that they're most comfortable with or that they like the most, usually depending on their age demographic, is where they're going next.
So this kind of goes into the part where we're talking about SEO. This is more how you want to think of SEO. So what does SEO stand for? Actually, it's search everywhere optimization. Google, this SEO portion of it, not that I'm not saying don't stop if you do SEO, you should still keep doing SEO. It still works basically, but it's just saying it's getting closer to 50-50. Whereas 4 years ago, it was much higher. And so SEO still works. It's still, if you've got an SEO company, make sure you're still using them, but you also need to take the next step, which is you've got to be found everywhere to where it is. And
let me tell you a story about a company that stopped using social media and what happened next. This company was leveraging Pinterest and YouTube. They were generating over 3 million impressions and views per month, but their Google Analytics didn't show any sales from these 2 social channels, because a lot of what happens in Google Analytics is attributed to last click. The last area they came from is what gets the credit for the sale in most cases. So this company decided to stop using social media. They're like, this is expensive, waste of time. So for 6 months, they didn't do anything on YouTube and Pinterest. The first few months, nothing really happened to their sales. After that, they slowly started to decline. And after 6 months, their sales declined by 28%. So when they surveyed people, figure out what happened, they found out that a lot of their customers found them from social media, and then they bought from them 3 to 6 months later by eventually just Googling or going directly to their website. So don't take social media for granted. Just because you can't attribute a conversion directly to it, it doesn't mean it's not driving sales.
So we talk about that a lot in terms of what we're talking about. So I think this is when you hear people talk omnipresence, this is what I think they want it to mean in terms of what it is. And Neil Patel knows this very well. He does everything. So here's the daily visits to each platform or searches to each platform. This kind of gives you an idea of what it is. This is, I believe this is 8.5 billion. So there's each Google gets 8.5 billion a day, Instagram 6.5 billion. Baidu, I'm not sure where that's located. It's not in the United States. Snap gets 4 billion. So you see, if we want to talk about going where your avatar, going where your customer is, this is why this is important, because some of these are changing. It's not that Google's bad or the bet or whatever. It's just the most right now, but it's not by a lot. So that, and then also there's this part, which the Harvard Business Review came out with and said 73% of consumers use multiple channels before they decide to spend any money to make a purchase. When you think about marketing, this statement is how you need to think about it. How to put you in front of people it resonates with. So it used to be run an ad, pay for it. They'll put it in front of people. People will give you their name and phone number. You'll go make a sale. This also touched baited as one mention doesn't resonate. You have to get multiple brand touches. And that's where we talk about the familiarity and trust of 7 hours of interaction, 11 touch points in 4 separate locations. When we talk about locations, there's conferences, there's webinars, there's your social media channels, there's Instagram, there's whatever, there's your direct mail, there's your radio ad, there's your TV ad, there's your, if you show up on a park bench, like all those are interactions. You're trying to get 7 hours at 11 touch points, 4 separate locations. 9 to 5, you're in the main conference center. And then they say, hey, we're going to go have cocktails or whatever it is, drinks, and you actually have to walk to a different location. And then the next day they say, hey, we're going to have breakfast, but it's never at the same location as where you had cocktails. When you're having a conference, that's an easy way for people to make 4 separate locations. They're physically moving you, which is causing the connection to be better. Every conference you go to, you will not eat in the same room as when the conference is. You will not have drinks there. And a hotel can do that. Like, I mean, yes, it's easier to set up somewhere else, but just think about that in terms of they're trying to get the other locations and the separate touch points. So you need to do that with your clients or potential clients more so, is you need to think of how can I be them at different locations? That's a physical location, but it can be online or offline. Ways to get people to watch you more. This is just something to get people think about as if you're creating content, whether it's a video, whether it's a reel, or carousel or words, is you want to think of it this way: effect on viewer, keep people hooked longer and get them to share. Here's 10 ways for you to help you and kind of create the engagement and get them longer and even get people to share. Because you know the sharing on especially Instagram is one of the best metrics in terms of getting more views. 1, create anticipation. 2, add humor. Go for a wow factor. Get people to feel nostalgic, comforting, inspire satisfaction. Like if the satisfaction one is if you don't believe this one works, the inspire satisfaction, go to TikTok and watch the guy who removes beaver dams. Literally, he'll get millions of views and all he's doing is tearing down beaver dams so the water come. And the point is people will wait because they want to see the satisfaction of the water flowing. Build curiosity, show warmth and empathy, shock and awe, surprise the viewers. That's the one I like the best. Teach something new. And we talk about this like teachers, coaches, instructors, everybody, they have the built-in authority. So if you can do that on your content, you're building that instant credibility. The chat GPTs. I put this in there because you can see how explosive the number of searches are compared to where they were June of 2023. It was barely a blip. Now it's 150 million searches monthly on chat GPT. So basically 15 months, because that's September 2024, 15 months. So if I were to do this another 12 months from now, it's going to be probably close to 1 billion. And it's probably a lot more because you can see that's a crazy growth. So this is just an example. This is another AI LLM Perplexity. And you can see just in 1 year's time. So this went from July of 23 to July of 24. They've gone up 600%. So 2 separate ones to do it. If you're going to use it. So a lot of times we talk about, hey, well, why don't you just ask ChatGPT what they say to be found? So we did this. And then we did a couple other things. And notice the number one thing that they say when you ask ChatGPT how to be found on ChatGPT: optimize your online presence, which is the exact same thing that the people did a 21-month study on came back with. I just thought that was interesting. Now I didn't know this was going to happen, but I said, hey, can you type this in ChatGPT? What's it come up with? A couple things for you because we want to use all platforms. This is an outline for your LinkedIn banner, kind of how you want to have it set up. So I know a lot of times the only reason I did this was because I was on a bunch of calls and I was looking at banners and I thought they were a little busy. And so this is kind of like just, claim to fame, what you do, whatever else. Gives you an idea, your logos of why you're doing it. If you want to come up with ideas, you can go to Answer the Public. They'll give you 3 free searches a day. Type in the topic, your location, and then hit search. And so it'll show you all the questions on all the top questions. So if you have a specific place you want to talk about, like mine, if I would travel into Mexico, why would I not go there? What are the reasons are?
So I actually wrote what you said a few slides up. You use Answer the Public for topics for videos. I was rather than Chat GPT or something, right? So you go to Chat GPT for topics for next videos, but you say don't do that. Use Answer the Public.
I would do both, Keller. So I do both, okay? Because I get a lot of really good information from AI or Chat GPT. So I use both.
And then also, like a lot of times, good topics are the comments. So if there's a video you like, what are some of the comments? Like to me, that's the best one in terms of doing it.
I mean, even Keller, when you're looking at each of your systems or each thing that you're building out or your marketing or the things that Mark just talked about today, the first thing that you should be doing, like to train something, right? To train somebody else what you do. Using Loom. Loom is wonderful because it's like Zoom, where it records you, but it automatically puts it into like an SOP pretty much. And then you take that and you put it into AI 3 different times, asking for making it better and making it better. So you say, now can you put this into a process, a step-by-step process, or how to market a new real estate listing? Okay. And then you say, okay, can I get more detailed on marketing a new listing? So you want to use that 3 different times. And then you've really got a good process. And then you want to map it out. So if this happens, what are we going to do? If let's say a client, if there's a problem, how do you handle it? And then if there's another problem, what do you do next? That's the process map.
Anytime you do any videos, I would do it as specific, but as broad. So I'd start broad and then I would be more specific down. If I'm going to just start with the hook, it's like any first time home buyer looking to buy a house, and then whatever you want to get into or whatever the topic is, because you're going to try to see what people are typing. The reason why Answer does that is because it tells you what they're typing in Google. So if they're typing it in, what's going on with it? And so that allows you to say, oh, well, here's how you do it.
And even guys, when you come up with a hook, put it in AI and ask them, what's a better hook? Can you get a better hook? Can you get another hook? So you have multiple hooks that you're actually taking, a topic and asking them for more and more and better hooks.
Because remember, you can do a video and then have 4 or 6 different hooks and then test out which one's best. So, I mean, you can actually do that on TikTok, which is why I like TikTok, because you can go and post them all on TikTok and figure out which ones gets the best watch time. And then you can just take that one and use it.